my surrounding plants that we are going to be talking about my favorite topic, that is gardening and plants. So a lot of people complain that they have a black thumb. What is a black thumb? A black thumb is something when you get a plant home, you really love it, you want to see it grow, but the plant eventually dies. Why does it happen? Do I have a green thumb and you have a black thumb? No guys, that's absolutely not true. I believe that everybody in the world has a green thumb, but you need to develop it, nurture it for the green thumb to get even more greener. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you some mistakes that you might be making and labeling yourself a black thumb gardener. Check the video out to know what those mistakes are. So the number one rule which everybody needs to follow if they want to become an avid gardener, a gardener who has 100 plus plants, is study the sunlight requirements. For example, if I get this plant home and I place it in direct sunlight, a direct sunlight means a spot in your balcony or your home which gets sunlight for more than 5 to 6 hours, like for example from 10 am or 8 am to 4 pm. That is too much sunlight for this kind of plant. So for that, my suggestion would be to download any kind of a plant identifying app. If you go on the Play Store or if you have an iOS, you go on the Apple Store, you will have a lot of apps which identify the species and they tell you everything in detail. How much sunlight does the plant need? How much water does the plant need? What kind of plant is it? I would also suggest to study the plant by googling it or researching it on Pinterest and study the sunlight requirements. That is what I do, and then accordingly place the plant in a proper spot. So sunlight becomes the number one thing for your plant to survive, because that's how plants make food. Sun gives them the energy to make food and thus the plant survives. Hence, placing it in dark and harsh sunlight will kill it. So the number one thing is sunlight. The second and the most important thing which I think our dadis and nannies and my mother-in-law actually doesn't understand is water. Plant doesn't need a lot of water. In fact, when you water the plant, water it thoroughly. That means when I start watering this plant, I'll make sure that the water is seeping from the drainage holes, and that's how the water reaches from the top till the base roots or the roots which are below the plant. Plant के नीचे वाले roots जो छोटे छोटे roots आ रहे हैं, and because of which the plant is surviving, thriving, growing, expanding. The mistake which my mother-in-law and many such ladies are making is because maybe their societies are complaining that too much of water is getting wasted or too much of water is flowing down and their building is getting dirty. They're just spraying a little bit of water just on top, or they're just misting the plant. Mind you, misting is great, but again misting is not for all the plants. Also, if you just water the top part of the plant, only the top roots are getting watered. And the roots which are actually spreading and making the plant grow are not getting watered. Hence, 99% chances are that you think that you have a black thumb, but you are making a mistake of not watering. This is called as underwatering. Overwatering is when people or some aunties say that रोज पौधे को पानी सुबह और शाम को दो. That is absolutely not needed. You just need to water the plant when the topmost part of the soil gets dry. So you have to do this test where you just stick a finger in the pot, and if the soil sticks to your hand, then you don't need to water the plant. If it doesn't and it's dry and it even looks dry, do water the plant. So I follow this simple rule. I water my plants every alternate day. Now that it is winters, I am watering my plant after every 2 days. Suppose I water it on Sunday, then my next watering will be on Wednesday. So watering is the second mistake or the second point that you need to note. The third and the most important thing which can make you into a pro gardener is studying the soil requirements. Like I mentioned in the first point, there are a lot of apps which tell you about gardening. So go on the Play Store, go to the Apple Store and find out about these apps. There are a lot. I think one that I use is Garden Answer, and that has been really great for me till now. So coming back to my point of soil. Now there are different kinds of plants, like this rubber plant coming from a totally different region than this Monstera adansonii, right? So if, for example, this one comes from Africa and this one comes from South America, of course the soil requirements are going to be completely different. Hence, I go on to these apps and I study where these plants are from. And if I want to know in detail what kind of soil it needs, I Google it, I go on various kinds of apps, Pinterest and this and that. I even ask my friends, what are the kind of soil requirements for a particular plant? Then, in India, if you are buying a plant from a nursery, it generally uses clay, sticky soil which just gets stuck to the roots. Also, there are many malpractices, like, instead of using, there is this white substance which you might find in the plants, and because many of the nursery sellers, plant sellers want to make a lot of profit, instead of using the perlite, the white kind of a granite limestone rock which gives aeration to the soil, they are using thermocol. So thermocol is again plastic, it is man-made, it's going to definitely kill your plant eventually, and hence what I do is whenever I get any plant home and I feel that the soil is sticky, clay, or I just think that I don't trust this vendor with the right kind of soil, I remove all the soil and I make my own soil. How can I make my own soil? I take the clay, sticky soil and I add perlite, I add vermiculite. If it is succulent or a plant which is from a dry area, a desert, then I add a succulent mix. So I think soil needs a complete IGTV video on its own. But you can definitely study the soil structure and you need not make this soil. It's readily available on Amazon and many other platforms, and you can go and buy that kind of soil there. So I think I have spoken a lot. I think it is a little in-depth, but these are the 3 things that you need to get right: sunlight, watering and soil. And your black thumb will soon be converted into a green thumb. And if you think that you are feeling or your plant is dying, even I make plant mistakes. I'll show you some of the plants that even I have killed because I have only used it. You just need a bit of interest and a lot of time to convert yourself from a black thumb to a green thumb. I hope this IGTV video helped, and I think I shall stop talking now and ask you, what all tips do you need in terms of gardening, in terms of plants, in terms of plant placement, in terms of new plants, in terms of plant families. I have around 150 plus plants now, and I'm super proud that I took up this hobby in this lockdown. I am always ready to help you guys, so do let me know in the comment section below as to what all information you need. And bye bye from me, always.